slightly over the top.
Legend tells of the mysterious planet Nexus, once inhabited by the hyper-advanced Elden, who disappeared from the galaxy long ago. Where is this lost world? What mysteries and wonders will be found there? And does it conceal ancient technologies and forbidden magic of awesome, unimaginable power? Guess what? You're gonna find out, Cupcake. Nexus has just been discovered, and things are about to get real. Welcome to Wildstar. When someone finds the most legendary planet in the universe, you can be damn sure that everyone's saddling up their starship and blazing a trail to get there. On one side, you've got the Exiles, a motley crew of refugees, outlaws, and mercenaries. On the other, the Dominion, a powerful interstellar empire that prides itself on kicking ass. Throw in a bunch of the weirdest, wildest, and most ruthless races this side of the event horizon, and you've got an explosive cocktail just looking for someone to party with. You ready for a fight? Oh, yeah. Face off against dangerous alien organisms, killer robots, and savage natives, using skill, movement, and some old-fashioned backbone to smash your enemies to smithereens. Whether your arsenal is big guns and bullets or supercharged magical spells, you'll be cracking skulls and making corpses in no time. Well, stakes not high enough for you? Then you and some of your most bloodthirsty friends should double down and buy a war plot. Then outfit it with enough firepower to blow a hole in the space-time continuum. When your death fortress is complete, go to war against your enemies and earn rewards so epic your head will explode like a supernova. Boom! Taming a hostile alien world ain't gonna be easy, so choose a path and start taking care of business. As a soldier, scientist, settler, or explorer, you'll be facing Nexus head-on with custom content and rewards that make your kind of adventure. So whether it's starting a war, building a town, climbing a mountain, or studying bug-eyed brain-eating extraterrestrial critters, you're whipping this planet into shape with your own personal style. You didn't come halfway across the galaxy for a weekend visit, no. So grab a plot, build a house, and kick back on your little piece of the galactic dream. Customize your house with a mind-numbing array of choices, transforming it into a unique reflection of your own enigmatic, schizophrenic, or sociopathic tastes. Snazzy! And just when you think it's all over and maybe it's time to take a breather, guess again. Dive headfirst into an episodic world story to reveal the ultimate secrets of Nexus, doing your best to avoid getting demolished, dissected, or vaporized. Along the way, you'll see some of the most epic content since the Big Bang itself, squaring off against the most hair-raising enemies that Nexus has to offer. Add to that an unbelievable lineup of dungeons, raids, PvP battlegrounds, and adventures, and you've got a rich, deep, unforgettable experience that's guaranteed to blow your mind. Wildstar, adventure is about to get an ass-kicking.
My favorite comment from the forums was, they blew up the planet before we even got to play the game. Oh yeah, that. So let's go show stuff, because videos are cool, but cooler yet is actually, showing what the game world's all about. We'll start off, and I will show as much content as we can cram in before we then hop into housing. So we will now be in a race to try to get through as many zones as we can as fast as we can. Right now, we'll pop over into the Halon Ring. This is zones are kind of on a spectrum from like very fantasy feeling to very sci-fi feeling. This is about a level 40 zone, super sci-fi feeling because you're in space. This is a defensive grid that's around the planet, and it's been blowing up ships pretty much for millennia here. And so the entire area has been infested with pirates. There's ships that are crashing into the ground on a regular basis, and space debris falling to the ground here. You've got junkyards entirely full of crashed ships. You have witches raising up the undead crews of the ships as well to cause havoc in the area. And so a couple things to note about it. We're in space, and so the whole area is a low gravity zone, so you can kind of super jump about wherever you want. Every area has its own set of. We try to have a high amount of variety in both gameplay things, because the fact that you can sort of floaty jump here now, it changes the combat timings for how you're jumping around and dodging stuff. It's making areas accessible that normally wouldn't have been. It combines in with other stuff with the mounts and how explorers move about and all that. We try to have each area have a lot of these kinds of things. So you'll notice there's some dynamic content in the area with stuff crashing to the ground. You'll note that as we go into areas, some have or no air in them, so you get a helmet to wear, that kind of stuff. Now, we're Makari, we're not known for their air breathing necessarily anyways. Let's go pop over to the junkyard in the interest of showing content as quick as possible. We have cheated our way over to another area. Including killing everything flying around in the area. So we have a helmet on now so that we can breathe even if we needed to. If you want to just fly through the area, we'll show a little bit of what it's all about. Stuff's crashing down around. This can be hazardous stuff, meteorites and things to dodge. It can be helpful stuff like debris that is useful to you. It can be things. What we often like doing is things that are kind of a mixture of the two. Because it's dynamic, there's a challenge that we face when we demo things, which is trying to show stuff that is dynamic is tricky because we don't know actually what necessarily will happen. As an example of that, actually, let's sum up the particularly interesting, I think, kind of random encounter you can face. Which is things going to be kind of helpful or kind of not. A simple one, a vending machine. Cool and all. But there's a trick, of course, too, when you actually use the puppy, that you can. It's not necessarily what you expect, because things are rarely on Nexus exactly straight and narrow. This is the only vending machine boss that I have ever fought in my life in any MMO. You don't ask sometimes, how are you different from other MMOs? Vending machine bosses are a moment in many ways to try to really be different. And it follows a lot of normal combat rules. It's spitting space soda cans up into the air to plug you. It's spitting soda at you as well from its orifice of whatever kind. Because we are in space, because it is low gravity, our ability to sort of dodge around and all that is in some ways enhanced because we can jump higher and over things, but we're also jumping more slowly, and so dodging something is actually effective. He will also create energy drinks for himself to drink to fill himself up. So if you see a little nom-nom-nom effect, that's what is going on, is he is drinking his own self-created energy drinks. What we're trying to do is, this is a quick cross of what a solo standard normal creature you might fight at the higher levels like. Not boss fights, not necessarily big and epic, but just, that kind of combat. Dude. And now you're approximately level 11. So speaking of combat, let's go show more stuff in the interest of covering as much as we can as fast as we can. Let's go show some lobby stuff, and we'll see how some of the same things that you see in the higher level zones is applied to even the first noob setting foot on Nexus for kind of the first time ever. This is a zone called the Crimson Isle. For the Draken, it's the area that you get to sort of first when you're arriving on the planet. You're sent to infiltrate. You're going to sneak inside and basically be able to lay the way for the rest of the Draken army to come through this area. Every time that we start an area, we try to tie in a couple things. Your mission here is obvious. There's a shield generator over here, and what we need to do is go blow it up. And why? Because it's got a shield that's sitting over the planet to knock down so that the rest of your group can come through and take names. And what we try to do is often have elven technology that's been, in this case, established by the exiles, and that they're using to sort of hold a little foothold on this particular island. And usually it's gone haywire in some kind of fashion. So just starting off here, even at in the lobby area at the lobby levels, the combat, is interesting even right off the bat. we've all played MMOs before. You know, most of the player base out there is experienced MMO players who can check these things out. There's two kinds of people that we really want to appeal to. Hardcore MMO players who play MMOs, and also try to get people brand new to MMOs. The group that we're not interested in is people who are currently playing MMOs. Like, we don't care if we steal a single user from World of Warcraft or from, you know, other games that may be popular of the moment, because there's a huge crowd of people who have played MMOs and they're bored. They've left the area where they haven't been intrigued into one. We want to appeal to that group really as well. For many of us, it's us. You know, we play all the new MMOs that come out because everybody, I think, is waiting for like the next big thing. So what do we think it takes to do the next big thing? You know, it's having combat that's interesting, where even the low monsters are throwing each stuff at you. It's having things in the environment. You know, there's ships flying overhead, and they see you, then they're going to send in a strike at you. And as a noob, you probably get hit by this. As a higher level player, you start using it, or more experienced players use it to take out monsters or speed up the fights in the area. Grab a bunch of monsters, pull them over. What we're trying to do really is give you stuff so the high level players have interesting things they can do, and new players may never even notice them. You know, if you're smart, you use the mines to help you out. If you're not smart, you step on them and you get blown up. And it's all about having sort of a mix, even in the very first of the newbie fights you do. And of course, we do paths. You know, path is your playstyle. For us, this character is an explorer path. This is, paths are separate from classes, they're separate from races. It's a playstyle. The explorer playstyle is you find hidden stuff in the environment. You get hints. We don't usually lead you directly to explorer content. We let you find it, or we give you a general idea about what's in the area. And usually it's not combat-based stuff for the explorer. That's more of a soldier thing. In this case, you're in a collapsing tunnel. You have a little puzzle to solve in terms of like a hot-cold puzzle, but we're mean. We're not letting you solve it just by walking around. You've got to do it in an area where there's stuff crashing down and damaging you and knocking you over. Because we're not, for the explorer type, it's more of a high-end hand-eye coordination type of group that tends to do it. They get more jumping puzzle type stuff, or unlocking hidden routes to places. They get extra benefits for finding like vistas and things like that, like dramatic views of the zone. They get scavenger hunts to be sent on. There's a lot, and we try to vary it up. But this is a play style that is separate, kind of to itself. About 20-25% of people self-identify as being primarily explorers. And so we try to give you content that sort of serves that need for you. And we give you benefits for doing it with people with other play styles. So in the interest of speed, we'll sneak through all this by using cheats, basically, so that we aren't attacked by a ton of things. And we'll go blow up the dish. It's sort of, this is your very first mission. I'm not scared of throwing some fairly epic stuff for you to do. Big monsters to fight. We'll go show some that are just over the hillside. Big epic things to do in terms of the kind of things you're doing. We are able to affect things like lighting and spawns and different things dynamically. We can do that in phases. We can do that out in the real world. We'll phase some stuff, if we're telling a story, but we like doing as much in the open world as we can because it's cooler, and phasing kind of sucks if you see it all over the place, because it feels like you're not really having an impact on the world. And of course, if you're a settler, you get to make dramatic impacts on the world yourself by building housing, and the same cool stuff we'll show later when we show housing. Doing that actually out in quest hubs, or building up outposts near tough content so that there's a guard post and that sort of thing to defend you. So the other thing we try to do is give you a mix of epic and serious. You're in a big epic area with ships crashing down and witches to kill, but then there's a vending machine boss. In this particular area, there's a set of bandits to destroy who are sort of Mad Max style, like hodgepodge of things together. But also there's a Vidball player here who's been crashed on the island. The team's crashed and he is the sole survivor. I do not guarantee how many people actually survived, but he's the only one who's left standing now. Possibly by having eaten the rest of the Vidball. What is Vidball? It's a game that we do for fun and housing. But in this particular case, the key there is, for whatever reason, you have a 40-foot tall football player wandering around who needs to obviously have his butt kicked. And he's not friendly to the other natives as well, so if you're smart, you can lure him and maybe use him to help you out in some of the fights and stuff as well. But we're not scared of throwing some fairly epic and fairly goofy, even in level 5, level 6 kind of content goals. Later on in Derridum, you'll see Metal Mall. We designed Metal Mall with the fans, like at Gamescom, people yelled out, oh, we want to try Monster. It should be turquoise, and we're all sketching them in real time as the fans direct the creation. And then over the next year, we ended up putting him on our community site and showing how he's animated and how the skeleton's done and how he's integrated into the lore and sort of raise the curtain a little bit on the whole game development process. Because we think it's cool. Fans would think it's cool too, but obviously we think it's cool. We're going to be paid to make bank software or something like that. So let's go show more content. Do you want to pop over into another area or do you want to do housing? It's your choice. Okay, we'll do housing. So we showed our sort of marketing video before it, and of course we're laughing ourselves a bit because we try to be a no bullshit organization. We try to not show content that is mocked up for exact demo purposes. We try to just show the game. When we do our marketing bit, it doesn't take itself seriously. Our voiceover guy was laughing at the lines he has to say throughout the course of the thing, which is a new one on me, and after having done a lot of videos every year. So here's a new series, first time ever. This is this is being seen externally, which we call DevSpeak. And DevSpeak is about introducing features and diving a little deeper and speaking like normal human beings to other normal human beings who are gamers about what's cool in the game. In this case, the first one that we're doing is housing. And so it'll explain housing, then we'll show it for real, so it's, it's not just oh, here's another old graph video, but it actually works.
Welcome to Wildstar. This is DevSpeak. Disclaimer time. This series is about getting into the nitty-gritty of Wildstar. That said, we're going to start with something you might not expect. It's one of our core features, housing. Let's start at the beginning. How do you get a house? Well, just find yourself a Protostar housing specialist. You'll see them pretty early on. Bring some cash and you are G2G. They'll send you straight to your sky plot to start building. You want to clear off any, shall we say, undesirables. Oh, what up? You can stay. First, you can build a little campsite. Then you'll get a starter home. Eventually, you can buy some pretty crazy domiciles. Once it's built, you can customize and decorate the hell out of it. And really, you can do anything. Inside, outside, walls, roofs, doors, windows, wallpaper, furniture, it's all fair game. Put a floating chair and an upside-down table. See if I care. But housing in Wildstar isn't this isolated secondary feature. It's actually woven into your entire gameplay experience. You'll find items for your house all over the game, from random drops to quest rewards to crafting. It will become your home base, and a place that provides you with a myriad of conveniences. An easy example? Logging off in your house grants you more rest XP than anywhere else. More cool items in your house, more rest XP. Remember how I said you can decorate the outside of your house? Well, you can actually construct buildings and facilities. We call them plugs. They fit into spots on your land called sockets. This is where the real action happens. Like to cook? Build a garden to harvest ingredients. Need some more? Build a mine. Can't bring deeps? Practice on a target dummy. Tired of facing that mob of players around the public workbench? Build your own and craft in peace. Your plugs will give you daily quests, resources, and more. But they do take some time to build up. Don't worry, because you can teleport to your house anytime from anywhere. Housing is also a little bit of a social scene. Set your plot to allow your friends and neighbors to visit, or open it up to the public. It's not just about showing off. You'll be looking at some serious perks. Can't log on for a week? Get a buddy to maintain your garden, and they'll get a portion of the reward. Bandits raiding your neighbor's property? Lend a helping hand, gun, or sword, and earn yourself some bounty. Hardcore raider? How about a personal raid portal? With a buff. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We are making a big effort to make player housing a major part of the game, and I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it as much as I do. Well, maybe not as much as I do. This is only the tip of the iceberg for housing, but that's all I can show you for now. If you want more info, you can hit us up here or here. Remember, the devs are listening.
What we're really trying to do right now is put teeth to those kinds of statements. Beta's opening up soon. We have a candidate build, so it'll probably be over the next month or so to kick off closed beta. And the reason why is we need actually to have a large number of skilled players in the game to be telling us stuff that we don't know. There's a 210 of us or so, and although it changes week to week, going up. And with that, it's actually quite tough to coordinate 40v40 content. We're doing the war plots test and that kind of stuff. So part of what we want is just a significant mass of players and as many skilled players as we can get with hardcore raiders, with the mod community. Entire interface, of course, is user moddable. And so we want people sending us mods and stuff so we can make our interface better during beta. The goal there is to really listen. So here we are in housing, with a smallish house. And we can really tune, outside, kind of whatever you want, as well as inside. On the outside, there's hooks. Why are there hooks? It's because in social situations, we don't want to have people overloading the outside of their houses with stuff to slow people down. So there's a large number of hooks, but there's a number of hooks to be able to do that. You can place everything from new light sources to windows to animated things to things with quests on them to rare stuff that you have found. Right now, we're placing stuff mostly out of the housing vendor directly, where we can just buy stuff for gold pieces and whatnot and plop them on down. A lot of things are decorative because decorating itself is fun. The first time that we did a big developer test with our own team, we had about 100 people at the time. And we found a bug after running our test for an hour because the 64,000 object had been placed, and we had a bug after 64,000 objects being placed in an area. And we did that with 100 people in an hour. It's fun to play stuff. It is fun to decorate. It's fun to do all that. But what's been more fun is in the ensuing time since then, as we've added more functionality to things. So it's tied into crafting, or things that give you buffs, things that give you cool stuff in an area. Inside, so outside we can play stuff on hooks. Inside we can play stuff sort of freeform anywhere. And this is nice because it both lets people place the things we've designed for them to place down, but it also lets people go nuts. If you want to build a whole loft for yourself out of placing planks down, then cool, do so. If you want to, we give you some items, give you some buffs in an area. Like these are all sort of like rested XP buffs for like if things that are comfortable, like furniture or things of lighting. Why do we incent lighting? Because people would have these super dark houses, so like, yes, lighting gives you that. Trophy stuff gives you extra rewards, especially so that as you like kill rare monsters, you can get their heads, put them up on the wall. All the more cool when it's raid bosses and this kind of stuff. But it's really placed whatever the hell you want. The goal here is not to force anybody into a play style. You can change everything from floor textures, wall, ceiling, all that kind of stuff. All sorts of different assets and items to place. You'll see, literally hundreds in the various interfaces that were popping up. That part of Star Wars did one in particular, maybe the ugliest wallpaper we have, I think. But made by Protostar. So within that, the kind of goal overall here is just do whatever the hell you want to do. So this will probably be microtransactions at some point, and we kind of think boo too, though. We'd like you to really earn the bulk of the stuff that's in your house. Have the cool stuff be stuff that you earn through your own sweat and blood and tears through raids and all that sort of thing. But the goal here is also to give players building blocks so you can make your own stuff. If you want to make it a little crib, which I think is what Tony's doing, on the floor, you can sort of free, drag, and place and rotate stuff. You just click it, so it's very easy to place down, and then you can fine-tune it to your heart's content. We give the building blocks so that if you want to, take shelves and build yourself a new floor to your house out of it, okay, go crazy, have fun. That's kind of the goal of all this stuff at the end of the day. So some of it is beneficial and some of it is decorative, and we try to have a mix of all that there as well. Are you making me plushy, Tim? To store all your little stuff toys in? Yes, you're a strange man. Also, we're not on Rails too, so feel free to chime in with questions and whatnot at any time. Or if you have interior decorating tips, that's useful too.
Do you plan on doing any sort of pet system, so where you can have your pets roaming around your house?
Yes, but we haven't done it yet, or I probably show it right now. We have plans along this kinds of lines. There's also a huge variety of stuff you can do outside your house with animal pens and stuff like that to be able to capture stuff and then be able to raise it and get the benefits of it. So that instead of having to go out in the wild and kill stuff for wool, that you can gather it and that sort of thing. So some of that's tied into the crafting part of that as well. Dude, little ant monsters. I have nothing. You can also rescale anything as well, place it about and all that. Let's pop outside and go do some plugging business. Now that we've had some insight into Mike's personal life with small plush animals. So outside here, can you wander over nearby where our plug is that you're changing? We shall go through so. Stuff takes time to build. We have sort of a fast forward mode that we put things in so that we can build it in a reasonable time frame here. Low level stuff tends to build pretty quickly. High level stuff tends to take a long time. We like to try practice and crafting. Many things require our crafters' involvement to be able to, either build a prefabricated kit and then use to construct. We'll make a variety of stuff so it's building up around the thing as well. And as much as possible, we try to have these be functional. Mike's just built a little garden, so there's a couple of little things that you can now add to it. In general, if you're a survivalist, you're out in the wild, you find a plant, you chop it down, and leaves can come off which you can use immediately, or seeds come out which you need to make a garden to go and raise them up. What we're trying to do is not have it be that you just go on the web and kind of find the optimal setup, and everybody has exactly a clone of their stuff, because you can find rare seeds, which improve the growth rate of everything nearby them, or improve the end results. You can find, a lot of what you find may be, is pretty random in terms of did you find a, rare thing or not. The plants themselves, some have radius buffs. It's this thing called companion planting, where like plant tomatoes and basil near each other, they grow faster. We've tried for that kind of thing, so that there's not just like one optimal way to plant your garden and do your thing, but you kind of have to react to the things you find and then use them in an intelligent fashion while you're sitting down to wait for your plants to grow. And of course, it's Wildstar, so we don't, we thrive on just interesting ways of doing stuff. So you can just chop things down, pick up the pieces. You'll notice things coming out like different plants, different seed packets, all that kind of stuff, based so that. Because the experience we want is you go on an adventure and you come back from a hard day's work. Now you can plant some things, do things, and you're investing basically for your next play session. So when you come back, you go log off, you start backing up some rest XP, and now you come back the next day and what rare spawns have happened, what cool things have happened kind of in your area. So other neat things that we've been doing. You can plant a taxi node so you can have better sort of movement, the different zones and that sort of stuff. This is a buff statue, so you repair it and upgrade it, and then you're able to get buffs that help you, mostly for raiding. We're trying to make houses be good, for all the play styles, but one of them that we expect is, hey, you socialize everybody's houses before a raid, you get all the buffs and stuff laid up, and you mod or build a portal to be able to get into your raid. Now raid jumps through and the box starts hacking stuff up. This is a hedge mage, so there's little critters in it. This is the opposite, I guess, of nurturing animals in there. In this piglet case, there's can be different spawns in here with different rarity and achievements, other things sort of tied to going and collecting them all, or in this case, crushing them all. And so we're trying to aim for this sort of mix of like interesting stuff, decorative things, and also functional. This is sort of in the middle. This is like a low gravity pad. So you hop on here, and now it'll give you it'll buff. You have to make an area of low gravity for you to sort of bound around it. Is there a utility to it? I don't know. We'll probably add something at some point, another quest in the area or whatever, where maybe this will actually help you out. Or if not, it's just for fun. It's kind of the goal of all this sort of stuff. A lot of what we've tied into housing is just, hey, have a party, buy a bunch of stuff to give everybody buffs or boosts or usable things for people to set off fireworks and whatnot. Have a low gravity party and bounce about it in the middle of the fireworks. The goal here is just fun. It's just be able to have a good time at all this.
We can see all those other housing plots around this one. Are they going to reflect other people's choices, or are they kind of just stalking?
It depends. We do a lot of trickery to basically make it feel, social, and so that you can socialize. And so in this case, there's no other houses on this map. Those are all, pure canned, just sort of stock goodness. But we're trying to sort of, one of the things that we'll do over ensuing development is we want to really up the social factor of housing to make it a social scene. And so we have a couple of tricks in mind for doing that kind of stuff. We try not to promise too much that we have not already done because we don't want to, we have tricks even beyond that. But we want to try to be able to show stuff as opposed to yap about it. Now we want to have to yap about it. Other questions? Ask me anything.
Do you actually have like in the video, it showed that people could visit your house when you weren't there to do things. How is it that you go about granting someone access, and what stops them from like just going and taking all your stuff in the garden while you're not there?
Yeah, that would be unpleasant if it could happen. So you get the benefits of if you it's a permission system. It's the short form.
Okay.
And so you can grant permissions for a variety of things. In the case of harvesting, you get the results of the harvesting, but there's a benefit for having gone to someone else's plot and doing their stuff. And so it is purely an additive system as opposed to, oh, Bob's going to sneak over and steal all my crap. What we would like to do in the future is extend that permission system to things like decorating. Some people suck at decorating. I am a fine example of this. But if you get a bunch of cool stuff, it'd be nice to give someone else permission to come into your house and be able to play stuff so that people can be a professional decorator, because some people are awesome at that and really geek out on it. This is the house of one of our artists, for instance, and so it's better decorated than I am capable of doing because I have a programmer background and not known for artistic skills. There's something actually kind of interesting here too, which is when you get to this area initially, Protostar are not known for their ability to be on the straight and narrow, and so they've sold you, a plot of land, but it turns out this plot of land has been built on a pet cemetery, with the known results of buying a plot of land that's on a pet cemetery. And so you have to fight hordes of like phantasmal creatures and things to sort of earn your right to stake your claim here. And this is the boss of those guys is actually a phantasmal Gorgonoth. Who you need to kick crap out of with friends or otherwise to earn the final rate to get your house block. You can get access to housing level 6 in the current build, just through finding a Protostar guy, get an early mission to sort of like seek out one and be able to start staking your claim with it. And really our goal there is that it's kind of a traveling quest hub for you, where it's giving you daily quests and things to do. And it's got its own sort of advancement of rising up, among the many ways that you can low gravity and fight. It's got its own sort of advancement queue to it, and so you're finding stuff in the outside world to bring back here, and it's actually prompting you to do stuff back out in the outside world. One of the reasons to make it fly is to have it sort of be mobile in terms of the areas and stuff that it can send you to and direct you to as well. So I, unfortunately, am about to turn into a pumpkin, and I'm going to hand this over to Mike Donatelli, I think, to do any follow-up questions. But feel free to ask him anything. Please. I must disappear. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With the housing, do you start with this big plot of land, or do you start out with a smaller one and upgrade to this giant plot?
When you get your first quest to go over there, you start off with the plot of land, and it's covered with environmental hazards, and then just regular creatures. There's a number of different encounters and quests you have to go through to actually claim your land. Once you claim your land, you start with your day. It's kind of a pre-made house per se, but it's kind of like a tent thing, and you start there, and then the idea is there's a system involved with this where you have to go and collect the things that you need to get your next level, and then you need to gather more things. It's not always just about money, it's about going out to the real world, collecting the items you can bring them back and build the next step. This is, did you say level 2 one or level 3 one? What is this house?
The basic run of the house.
Okay, so this is the smallest graphic house, and you would collect your things to put all that together to get this version of it. And then again, there are upgrades from there, but again, you have about the world, you have to collect it and bring it back to a bigger house. And again, what you're looking at here, again, please, this is not the system per se. This was this is not a demo. This is for our testing purposes. So when we're going in there testing, how many items we can put up, what's going on, we use this. But all these items are just a fraction of the items that you're going to find in the world, and then they're not everything is just silver. This stuff is. You find the quests, you find the challenges, you find the public events, the rewards off of raid bosses, you find things all over the world, and you find components it ties into crafting where crafters can build certain things for your house. So we need to collect components to them to build the things. I don't know if that was an answer to your question.
Not really the housing, but we've got these 4 paths that people can join. Is it going to kind of be separated, or can, say, a soldier help a settler with a settler's path?
Excellent question. When we started out and we said, we're going to do these paths, right? People like to do certain things, we're going to do it. The soldier did holdouts, little public events. The explorer, he just jumped up on top of stuff, and that's where we started. And we got a lot of feedback from people saying, "But I'm a soldier, or I would like to be the soldier, but I also want to do some exploring." So what we ended up doing is taking it back a step and making sure that all players in the game, no matter what path you pick, will enjoy all the aspects of it. As a player, you will find a public holdout. As a player just doing a quest, you will just go in, no matter what path you are, you'll uncover, oh, hey, look, here's a holdout for my quest. And anybody can start it. It scales to how many people are or how many people are contributing. And it's good fun, but so we spread it around. So you won't, it's not like anybody's never going to see all the stuff. It's you just get more of the stuff. Then people were saying, hey, look, holdout's not enough. So then we added assassination missions, SWAT missions, demolition missions, just all kinds of stuff. The Explorer got, it not only did it started off with the jump puzzles that it turned into Explorer micros and shortcuts, secret underground lairs, relic, like you have to go and hunt down relics throughout the world, and you're going to NPCs and you talk to them and they give you clues and you follow the clues, and it's pretty a pretty in-depth system. But yes, all the way back around to your question, yes, we call it crossing paths. If 2 paths or 3 or anybody gets together and they help each other, you get a percentage of the XP for helping them complete their mission. And again, that's because we don't want it to turn into something where players are like, oh, we don't need an explorer. We try to tie a lot of this stuff together. If you are a scientist who needs to scan things to get certain lore unlocks, you can scan them throughout the world. There'll be enough there, but you have to go hunt them down. Sure. But if an explorer can open an underground thing, which is underground and has lots of mushrooms growing in it, and that's the thing you need to scan, then you get an added benefit as well. So we try to tie those things together in and around the quests and the encounter content in the world.
Is there going to be any open world PvP?
No, not right now. The plan we have right now is you'll be able to level up for PvP from nothing to something. But the plan is not. We will have servers that will do that stuff. Not like I can just go into it, and kill somebody.
Is there going to be faction-specific housing options that one is going to have? One is going to have access to and the other won't, or
we have. See, again, it goes back to. I know it's kind of bothers me saying it because I know we need it, but some people say play the way you want to play. It just seems to come off as kind of a thing. But yeah, right now we're on the fence. We have 2 completely faction-specific housing options. We have all the different housing things, but we're currently under discussion on whether or not just to let the whole thing just let you. You want to be, want a house of the other race. We're not sure yet, but it's definitely something we've been talking about.
For the customization, like you have so much customization for these houses, does that go for also the characters that we can create?
I would say that customization of everything is the priority of our art director, Matt McCarthy, who's kind of the driving force behind all that. But I mean, everything from your character to your house to other things that I can't really talk about. But yes, customization options are because it adds a whole new level, right? You can have a thing, but if you can customize it 10 ways to Sunday, you're going to get I think a better experience.
I really like the art style that you guys are going for, and technically when I think of NCSoft, I think of Ion, and I think of these beautiful fantasy worlds that have a lot of so much customization in your characters. And it's how do you guys feel about bringing this whole new creative side to NCSoft?
Well, I mean, it's that I would be speaking out of turn to talk about that, other than because I'm the content guy and the system guy, so I can talk a little about that. But I would feel like I was speaking out of turn if I'm sure if I said anything, of course, he would come back to me and just slap me across the mouth. So I think NCSoft, we enjoy it, and I think NCSoft is happy to have this kind of variability because we have them out all the time. We deal with them directly. They have a department comes out and gives us feedback, and the feedback we have on housing alone is that I can't say how many, but there is nobody who does housing that's going to have as many options for customization, and just the sheer volume of it is mind-boggling. It's 20 times as much as anybody else has today. Launched games with years of, and it's something we wanted to do. When I came on board 3 years ago, the first thing they said, "Hey, play this," and it was housing. I was like, "Why do you have housing? This is the thing you launch a year after the game goes live." They're like, "No, this is like our high priority." So it's just so we have years of accumulated assets and stuff. So it's definitely a very cool. One of my favorites.
There's also a mention about warp plots. Can you explain a little bit more about what those are?
Well, I can't go too much into it. I don't believe I can go too much into it. But what I can say is Warplot utilizes the same tech as Housing, which gave us the ability to have these, 40 monster fortress things that you can actually build, and you kind of build it and play it. But I can't go into as much as Gavin said. So I can't go down that far.
Since you do have such a creative world that you get to play around in, did you guys feel like you basically were limitless with ideas? Like you have a vending machine monster, and it just seems like you guys are having a lot of fun and creating this world.
It is, I have to say, it's like, when I came on board, we only had jump. It was just single jump. And a coder and an artist got together and said, we're going to do double jumping. We can do all these jump puzzles, it's going to be crazy, it's going to be awesome. And right off the bat, we're like, can't do that. Because as soon as you do that, you've then broken 25% of everything in the world, because now everybody can get on top of everything. And they're like, okay, we're not going to do it. Then they did it. And then they're like, well, just try it. So it turned into this thing where we tried to, man, this is a lot of fun. And then they tried to kind of turn a corner for us about just going, well, it's a lot of fun. Why are we trying not to do it? And then that turned into challenges. I don't know if you had a challenge, Mike, or you could open up your challenge thing. I think it's in your, it's in the missions quest. Great, we didn't challenge. Awesome. We didn't get a challenge, but if we got a challenge, I can tell you that challenges turn into the challenge is a thing that one of the artists and myself are talking about that we see in other games where, hey, it's kind of cool when the game's like, hey, I'm going to give you a challenge, and you're doing a thing, and then we adopted it. He's like, I can mock something up. We're like, sure, let's try it out. And then it was just a ton of fun. It just pops out the side. You're doing your content. It's just another layer where it's like, hey, you're doing this content already. Can you do it faster and kill more in this time frame? If you do, you get this wheel of fortune kind of thing. It spins. You choose what you want to double down your chances on, and it gives you a chance to get some extra cool thing. And it was super fun. There's an announcer, and he shouts at you when you're doing it, and it's fun. And at one point, we're like, well, does it break that wall? We're like, does it really matter? I mean, that's the whole point. It's a game. we do a lot of, Chad Moore was here earlier, our narrative design lead, and we do a lot of lore in the game, but we like to do what I call supplemental storytelling, which is very much something I like from a lot of other games that I've played in the past. That are, you find data cubes, which are voice recorded Elden snippets from the past that kind of go over what was actually going on here. And you find journals from iconic characters littered throughout the world, and you find and tell stories that fill in the gaps where you're seeing in the game. And then we even have kind of a Pulp Fiction-y kind of Tales Beyond the Fringe thing that if you go on the floor to play, you can check it all out in there. But I don't know. Gameplay and fun is kind of hard.
I know we have about 10 more minutes, so just a little time check.
What is your favorite housing item? I know there's so many.
Honestly, it's well, I'm going to say there's an interior. Well, there's only there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in here with way more than 1,000 copyrights. So there's tons that I know about that aren't in yet that are going to be super cool that I would say are my favorite. What I'll say right now is there is inside, I like, strangely enough, it's that little cage door Mike made, because that cage door he made, that's the thing we use, people use it as stairs. As Mike has said previously, we had an artist build an entire upper floor with bookcases. Mike refers to it as the mezzanine. I don't have an English accent, so I can't make it sound cool. But mezzanine, there you go. And so that was very cool because it's just the size of like a step. But you can make any size you want. So I've made cage doors. I've imprisoned enemy race people behind them and turned an entire lamp into what looks like a laser death ray. And I call it the room, and I made up this entire thing. And that's the craziest part. And that took me like 2.5 hours of just messing around with the sizing tools and moving and placing it. And you're like, wow, I really do that for 2.5 hours. It was so much fun. And it was, but even then, there's a system, an underlying system below that where, here it's cool because you can pick all the stuff and play with it, but the idea is that you will go out in the world and you will get that stuff, or if you're a crafter, you will craft that stuff, or you'll mine that stuff. And it's just a very good thing. Now, as far as plugs are concerned, the hedge maze you see here is one we had to put out so you guys can see it work, because when Jeremy says it's a rare chance, it's a really rare chance. We have a cool thing, like there's a wishing well you can put down, and every 24 hours it gives you a chance to spit out a purple item, or a blue, or green, or whatever it is, but it's a chance. So they're very cool little things, but I like the hedge maze because there's not just one jab, but there's a bunch of them, and they run around like crazy super fast. That one just kind of stood there and took a beating, so we could show you, but there's an achievement tied to it, so a lot of these housing plots have achievements tied to them, so it's kind of like that mini game of gaining achievements that you want to unlock, and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to have to go through like 20 of these housing plots to get all these achievements, like to unlock the killing them off. So it's just very, I don't know, I like the hedge maze one, but there's ones that I don't know if Jeremy mentioned, but I probably just mentioned this. I'll say this is the last thing I'll mention about housing, is you can, there are dozens and dozens of underground passageways that like take you to another place where you can fight boss monsters. Some of them are just bosses, some of them are like whole little mini dungeons, and you can have your friends come over and they're going to have to help you because some of that stuff is. He might fight you right at the back and go, oh, this is a five man, I gotta go get somebody to come help me. And then you have it for a certain period of time.